Hi, everybody. Jamie here. I thought I would come in. It's been a long time, probably a month, since I've done an update. And so this is more of a health update than a weight loss update, obviously. Um, so you can stop watching if you're looking for a weight loss video. As most of you already know that do watch my videos, I have a disease called sarcoidosis. And after being in remission for 10 years, we finally figured out what was wrong with me starting back in December of 2012. July of 2013, I ended up in a hospital, and they figured out the cough that no one could cure starting in December of 2012 was my sarcoid in full force. So, undiagnosed for 8 months. Now, as a lot of you know, sarcoidosis does not have a cure, or some of you may not know. I don't expect you to research my disease. It does not have a cure, and they don't know how you get it. So, a bit of a mystery. The only thing they can do is treat symptoms, and it can affect many different organs in your body. I probably should have turned my oxygen up a little bit to talk, so I apologize for the pauses. Anyway, it affects, 12 years ago, it affected my lymph nodes, and the pain in my feet was the problems I was having then, with no problems anywhere else, in the lungs or the eyes, which are very common, nothing. And then 10 years ago, my pulmonary physician at the time, internal medicine doctor at the time, had said, don't come back and see me for this unless you start having problems, when he should have been checking me at least once every 6 months. Anyway, so forward to 2013, obviously it's affecting my lungs. And so they started me on a high dose of prednisone for the granulomas in my lungs. And after a month, after 2 weeks, no improvement. Didn't expect any improvement then. After a month, no improvement. After a month and a half, no improvement. Now we're at 2.5 months, and the x-ray still shows no improvement. So, what's next? There really isn't anything else that can be done with these. What it basically means is, if the prednisone's not working, then it's permanent. So what that means for me, right now, the next step is a CT scan to compare to my first CT scan. And then he's going to probably do a bronchoscopy, is where they take a tube through your nose, down into your lungs, where they can take little biopsies and test for various bacterial viruses, fungal viruses, or fungal infections, just to rule everything else out, to one, make sure there's nothing else complicating the issue, and two, to confirm that I do indeed have fibrosis, which is permanent scarring in my lungs. I think I'm still in shock. I saw the doctor Thursday. Because what this means, guys, is probably not going to get any better in terms of back to normal, without the need of oxygen. Running, I'm going to be fairly limited in my ability to ambulate throughout the world. Can you still work out? Sure, you can go for a walk, you can crank your oxygen up, and I still need to be doing that. It's good for my body. And could it get a little bit better? Sure. The lungs are one of those organs that can regenerate, and although permanent damage is permanent, the rest of your lungs can learn to compensate for the parts that don't work. However, I believe, and I'll get more definitives later from my doctor. Right now, we're not talking definitives because we don't have enough test results. Basically, my whole right lung is full of this junk. And how this works, for people who don't quite know, this is your alveoli in your lungs. Here's your cell. Okay, alveoli take and they, well, this isn't your cell. This is your capillaries. This is your alveoli. The alveoli are what take and transport the oxygen. So it gets into the lungs, the oxygen, and carbon dioxide and everything else in the air. And the alveoli pull out the oxygen. There is a membrane between the alveoli and the capillaries. And the capillaries is where the red blood cells come through to get the oxygen. Oxygen has to get through this membrane to get to the capillaries to get to the red blood cells. And what happens with sarcoid, as this membrane gets thicker, making it more difficult for the alveoli to transport oxygen to the capillaries, which then is where the red blood cells pick up. So, the more you move, heart rate increases, etc., the cells go down the highway of the capillary faster, making it that much more difficult to get the oxygen into the cells. And so as this thickens, it makes it even more difficult, even when you're just sitting here talking, to get the oxygen into the capillary and into the blood cells, the red blood cells. That's basically what's wrong with my lungs. So next Wednesday, I'll get that test done, the CT scan, CAT scan, whatever you want to call it. Shortly thereafter, he will schedule a bronchoscopy, which I hear from him, he will make me very comfortable. It won't be too painful. It's uncomfortable, I guess, at most. But he'll give me enough drugs numbing the path it's taking that I guess it's no big deal. Other than you're still sticking a little tube down my nose, down my lungs. Doesn't sound like much fun to me. But I'm over my out-of-pocket maximum for the year on my insurance, so now is as good a time as any. A couple weeks ago, I also had a sleep study, and I have sleep apnea as well. So, November 2nd, I have a second sleep study, and they will be fitting me for a CPAP machine. They get how much airflow you need, etc., all figured out. And then oxygen actually connects to that because I still will need oxygen to sleep with. So I've had a hard time with all this news, but I'm trying to stay positive, and I just have to focus on a lot of things right now. I've got to get healthy. I've got to get to healthy weight. I've got to get my diabetes under control, which has been out of control because of the prednisone for quite some time, 2.5 months. That's doing. Oh, sorry. Not getting enough air. The diabetes is getting much better since we've been weaning myself off prednisone, because you can't just stop taking prednisone. So I'm still on it, just at a lower dose. Anyway, the reason I have to get to a healthy weight is so that I could later be considered for a lung transplant. I don't know if I'll even be sick enough for something like that, but he says I'd be a good candidate because I'm young and I'm not, 75 with the problem I have now, which is usually a problem of an older person. But I'm only 37 and I have this problem. So that's it for now, guys. Again, I'm not giving up. My journey's just changing and my life is just changing a little bit too. The fatigue is also a lot to bear. It comes along with sarcoidosis as well. And so I'm going to have to, I'm not going to be able to work as much as I normally do. I'm in a high overtime type of a field. I'm going to have to speak with my boss and get that figured out, because there's no way I can work 55 hours a week. I can barely work 40 right now. So for now, next weekend, I plan on driving to Bend, Oregon, which is a few hours away with my mom. My friend lives there with her kids, and it's one of their last soccer games. So my goal is to be able to walk to the soccer field and sit and watch them play. I've never seen them play. They've been playing for 2 years now, so I'd like to get up there to do that. So that's my plan for next Saturday. I hope it works. I don't want to stop living because of my limitations. I just want to learn how to live the best life I can with what I have. And like I said, a lot can change in a year. Who knows? For right now, though, this is my reality. This is what I have to deal with. And these are my limitations. So be it. I'm put here on this earth by God to go through things, to burden this, to carry this burden. I don't know why. I just know I am. Who knows what life and what God has in store for me yet. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go. This has been long enough. I hope everyone's well. I've been watching all your videos when I can, because work wears me out so much. I don't do much else when I get home. But I hope you all are doing good and succeeding and winning in life. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. I'll try to make it sooner than a month. Take care.